her husband's, he had a serious motorcycle accident. So he's recovering that. But she still says she's going to try and jump in here. And so just as a beginning, I just want to introduce myself. I'm Dr. Lisa Brown. Feel free to call me Lisa. And I'm a long-standing fan and mentee. I made myself a mentee of Sandy and Kirsten. I first met them on the internet as a result of the From Here to Equality book. And I was so enamored with the book that I was talking to a friend. I said, I want to work with them. I want to do like some easy, quick guides for like non-formal adult learning online, because I know that either people can't necessarily buy the book or they sometimes need a little bit of help in facilitating their understanding of its content because they're just not really big fans of reading. So that led us to creating the initial, what were called the ADOS. At the time, we were all kind of in the ADOS activities. And Michael, who is Michael Graham on here, who was the publisher of Actify Press, helped us in creating these quick guides, which were anywhere from 8 to 10 pages, where we would go through various topics. And I'll be glad to share that with y'all in the follow-up email. So we ended up making a series of at least 4 volumes where we would go through various content and From Here to Equality. And I was encouraged to reach out to Sandy, and y'all know him. He's so wonderful. Anytime that people are trying to engage in knowledge production and, accurate information, he's always extended himself for that. So as a result of that, I just kind of like became very much a part of, promoting reparations. And he asked me to join the Reparations Planning Committee, which I think most of you guys are on as well. And so, as a result of that, William T. Grant Foundation, we were able to produce this wonderful book as what they have called a sequel to From Here to Equality. And so I reached out to Sandy. I said, I really like to see us do more in promoting the book online to this growing online non-formal adult learning audience, because I know myself, Michael, and I don't know if Walter joins the Twitter spaces a lot. Well, now it's X, but I see Trayvon and Walter all the time online. And what we wanted to do is to kind of make a space where our scholarship can kind of help facilitate some of the wackiness out there, and especially you, Malik, because this recent ruling from the Supreme Court has caused people to have all kind of what I think errant interpretations of what they've said. And so there's been an effort that I found very disrespectful about the use of the term Black, and people saying that you can't use Black because the Supreme Court would shoot it down. So what I hope we would be able to do, and I'm a fan of all of y'all's chapters, Keisha, the stuff on medical stuff, I was like, what? I had no idea that was happening, especially in terms of why we're not seeing the production of Black American doctors as much as we have seen in the past, and how, as per usual, people look to thwart our efforts to become more self-sufficient. And with my university having a DO school, we have a dentistry school, we have a DO school, we have a PhD in nursing, and they're looking to form partnerships with HBCUs, which is fine, but I really want them to look to make outreach to Black people who are kind of missing in this space. And so that's, what I really was excited about seeing in your chapter. You economists, hats off. I start reading those formulas and I just had a blank stare. But I think your stuff is most of what you hear people talking about, from people saying lifetime payments to, paying me for slavery, even though I wasn't a slave. And so these kind of conundrums are, happening online. And so what I was hoping we could do is that each of us could talk about our chapters. I picked 2 different days so that we'll have that space. And I asked Mansour, and I'm asking Michael too, that we do kind of like a practice run before the Black History Month event. And the first thing that needs to happen with all of us is that we need to have Twitter accounts. And I know everybody on here has one. I don't know if you have one, Keisha. Do you have one yet? Okay, so you all will need to create a Twitter account for this event because you have to be able to enter Twitter. Now, you can delete it afterwards if you want to. That's fine and understandable because everybody doesn't enjoy Twitter. But I'm finding that it is a growing adult learning, non-formal and adult learning space where sometimes people get very much propagandized or are given misinformation. And so what I was hoping we would do is from our positions of our scholarship, be able to talk about the book and our contributions to these areas of reparations. And so in a nutshell, that's it. Does anybody have any questions before I turn it over to Mansour? No? Okay, go ahead, Thomas.
Yeah, more technical questions, how to sign up for Twitter and especially how to delete it again.
Yes, okay. Mansour, can you take on that with assisting him with that? You and Michael?
Yes, so if there is anyone who would need assistance in signing up for Twitter, I can help out with that outside of this meeting. We can just schedule a time to do that. And in terms of deactivation, that's a very quick and easy process. So I think the deactivation process is something that we can do on the back end very quickly, but setting it up, we can schedule a time. Is there anyone other than Thomas who would need assistance with this?
I'm the only one.
Okay.
I don't currently have an account because I didn't use it. They shut it down. But Keisha will get me signed up.
Awesome. And please make sure we have one because my university has already promoted our event. Yay! And I'm also working with the SALA. I don't know if y'all are familiar with the SALA. That is the organization that got created by Carter G. Woodson. And it's the Association for the Study of African American Life and Culture. And I happen to have won the Freedom Scholar Award last year. Really excited about that. And they are co-sponsoring, or they are allowing us to promote it through ASALA. So I have all of y'all's beautiful pictures. If you're not happy with your headshot, feel free to send me an update. But I think everyone looks gorgeous, and I'm really excited about it. So I'm sending the final one to ASALA because they're going to promote the event through their social media space. And then my university, y'all feel free to invite your students. I'm going to bring my class to the event. So make sure we at least have, you know, some decent amount of attendance. But in advance of the actual February event, we want to do a practice run. So after everybody gets their account set up, what I'd like us to do, and I'm going to share my screen. Share screen. So I'm assuming everybody has From Here to Equality, either the first version or the second one. And so what I'd like us to do is, let's see if this will open up for us. We're going to do a practice run with chapter number 9, 7 Mystic Years. And what we have titled this proposal for this practice run is Arrested Reconstruction and Ethnic Erasure, 7 Mystic Years, 1866 through 1873. And we're going to have the hashtags From Here to Equality, reparations, the Black Reparations Project. So we'll look to do something like that in January before we go back to school, just so we all can practice. And Mansour, I'm thinking maybe a Saturday afternoon or something. I'm not sure, Michael, what y'all think about a quick practice so that people can be familiar with the platform. But you will need to be familiar with at least this chapter From Here to Equality. And, you know, have Sandy kind of, you know, be available to talk about him and Kirsten to talk about that chapter.
Yes, Saturday. Well, weekend afternoons are usually good. In my experience, I've been off Twitter for a while. I needed a break. I guess about a month and a half I've been off now. But
Yeah,
I'll wade back in the waters.
I know. I
Yeah.
was worried. I was like, "Where's Michael? I have not seen him on Twitter."
Oh, I guess obviously, everybody has a life, so I got stuff going on
Of course.
outside of Twitter, and I needed a break. These people were just too wild, or just too
Oh,
wild. It's too
I know.
much negativity. It's too much
Yeah.
misinformation. It's too much straight up lying, and it's
Yeah.
too much disruption. Even when you're having a good conversation, it's just far too much disruption. But I got to get back in there and kind of pinpoint um, who are the negative influences, we'll say,
Yeah.
for the
No
for the
worries. I know exactly what you're talking about. And I'm going to turn it back over to Mansour to talk about the format that we're looking at in order to avoid that. You want to talk about that, Mansour? Oh, babies. Hi, babies.
Hold on. Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Mansour Buffins, and I guess I'll just introduce myself just a little bit. I met Dr. Brown at the University of Georgia. I majored in African American Studies and Social Studies Education, and have since been teaching. Was teaching in Atlanta, high school social studies in Atlanta, and now I'm working currently in Boston. I came here to get a degree, a master's in education leadership at the Harvard Graduate School of Education. And I've stuck around in the Boston area and am teaching and working as an inclusion specialist at a high school here. And I'm excited to be a part of this. I am familiar with and I'm also very intrigued by the entire conversation around reparations. And I've kind of had my ears to the ground in these past couple of months, really trying to kind of understand the general sort of misconceptions that people have, the questions people have about it, and just kind of the conversations that people are having around reparations. And I'm hopeful that bringing you all into X spaces will provide a lot of people who want clarity and who are involved in conversations and maybe have a lot of misconceptions around it, to be in a space in which they can learn about it from scholars and authors and from the work that y'all have put forth. And so as Michael had mentioned, X Spaces or Twitter it's a world in and of its own, and so we do want to limit a lot of the sort of negative things that he had brought up that is a part of that world. And so and so a lot of the things that he had mentioned, I don't think we'll have to worry about. The X Spaces, we're gonna create it to be constricted and constrained in ways in which there aren't going to be too many or really interruptions at all. Those who will be on the platform able to speak will be you all. And for the first session, it'll really just be for the first session in early February. And I'll come back and talk about the practice session, but just in terms of the February sessions that we're going to do, the first session will be an opportunity for you all to share with the public, share with those listening, and it will be recorded so people can listen afterwards as well, who aren't maybe able to attend on the day of. But the first session will be an opportunity for you all to just share the information and the scholarship that you discuss in your chapter, and in between the first, and that will be facilitated by me and Michael. We may, present different questions, different clarifying questions that we feel like the audience may have in general, just based on maybe comments that they're adding, or just kind of the questions that we're learning just by being in X Spaces conversations today, and just leading up to the event. And so we may have some clarifying questions for you as you discuss that, but for the most part, that first session is going to be about y'all just kind of sharing the content of your chapters and giving people sort of like a grounded understanding in your particular content area. And then between the first and the second session, we'll kind of be looking at different thoughts and questions that were posed during the first, and also just kind of keeping our ears to the ground about what sort of as I had mentioned before, what sort of misconceptions or misunderstandings or just kind of elements of conversations that folks are having around it, so that for the second session, we're coming with more pointed questions that we think that would be beneficial for the public to have answered by scholars in the work. And you all will be me and Michael will sort of discuss the exact logistics of it, but there will be a timer type of situation in which there'll be timed, the amount of talk space you have at any given point will be timed to ensure that there is an equality of talk space in the space. And also we will, there's an element of X spaces, and I think that, and this kind of leads me to the January practice session. There's an element of X spaces in which there's like a way you can broadcast tweets to those who are listening. And so we can kind of figure out what are those sort of pieces of information we want broadcasted for folks who join into the discussion, for them to see as they are listening to the conversation. And maybe there's something else I'm missing. I'm gonna cut it there, and just want to talk a little bit about the practice session. The practice session is really, as Dr. Brown has said, just a practice session for us to kind of, especially folks who are new to Twitter or to X Spaces in general, to kind of have an understanding of how it works. I think that you will find that it is more simple than than it may appear to be. And I think that the practice session will be good, so that when we do, one, content-wise, right, grounded in that content, but I do think that when we when we get to the February sessions, it'll be more seamless.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if there's anything that I had missed in all that, and if there's any questions that you all have, or comments or ideas that you would like to put forth as we are planning for February.
No, I just said, hi, Wes. Thanks for joining us. And don't worry if you missed anything. I did record it, so don't worry. Sandy did write me back and said he got called to child care. Him and Kirsten got called to grandchild care duties in Greensboro. But I told him too that we will be recording, so he'll know what's going on. Yeah, so I mean, we're Mansour, I can't think of anything else. I think in terms of next steps is that we need to get everyone's Twitter account set up and follow each other. Okay, so y'all on the flyer, you should see my Twitter address on there. I'll actually drop it in the chat because I want to give you the impression that I'm fancy and know how to use technology. So it's Dr. Retweets. I think it at Dr. Retweets, right? That's it, Monster, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's my Twitter account. And Monster, can you drop yours in the chat too, so everybody know to follow you? So what happens with these Twitter spaces is that you get an opportunity to do an announcement to let people know that this event is forthcoming, and then people can put reminders and also put it in their Outlook calendar. And so just for Wes, who just joined us, we're going to get the finalized flyer to my school. They've already announced the event, so it is a part of our Black History Month calendar. If you're happy with your picture that I used, or you want a different one, let me know and I will make that change. And yeah, that's pretty much all I could think of right now. And the fact that, and the rest of it is going to be on the recording. So I will download this and send you all a private link so that you can watch it on your own for anything you may have missed earlier on. Oh, thank you, Keisha. Is there any way, Monsieur,
I just wanted to say to Thomas that I will send you an email afterwards, and we're gonna figure out a time to get you set up. You'll be fine.
Okay. Any other questions, folks?
Sorry, folks, I had a phone call in the middle of Mansour's speech, but I'll catch up with him.
Okay. Well, thank you, everybody, for coming. I do not believe in long meetings because I know people are busy. And that's all I have for now. And I'll be reaching out, sharing the Twitter names for all of us to follow each other. And then the next move will be setting up a practice run in January. It's looking like we're looking at a Saturday afternoon, and we'll work with Michael and Mansour in coordinating that.
Yeah, and I just wanted to say one last thing. You had mentioned I think the kids want to get involved.
Yeah, and I do want to mention Keisha and Malik. I did not know y'all was family because I said these two pretty babies,
Yes.
these two pretty babies
I know,
in both pictures. So I just
Yeah,
gotta
the
figure that out.
Mommy. Yeah, you're seeing our tornado situation.
Yeah, gorgeous. Hi, babies.
Yes. All right, you guys are out of here.
Okay, Malik, I'm sorry, sir, I interrupted you. What'd you say?
Oh no, that was fine. Okay. Oh, so Lisa had mentioned making sure that you're okay with just making sure that the writing of your name, the picture that's used, everything is good on the flyer, because I believe that in January we are I plan to, and we're all going to be encouraged to begin to widely disperse the flyer. And so we want to make sure that if you wanted to change anything about it, that happens sooner than later. So just let Lisa know.
Yep. Okay, well, that's all I got, Mansour. You got anything, Michael, or
No, I don't have anything.
anybody in the audience for the good of the order? All right. Well, again, what'd you say? What'd you say, Mansour?
I do want to say one last thing.
Okay, go ahead.
I want to say that it's great to be in this space with you all, and this event. Thank you, thank you, Lisa, for spearheading this, because it really is very important. I think there are a lot of you want again, the X spaces and Twitter in general is becoming a space of a lot of informal adult learning, and it is in a space that is filled with a lot of misinformation. And so I think it's so important that we have this event taking place during Black History Month that's grounded in scholarship, grounded in research from your authors, because I think there are a lot of I think it'll be a great space for adults to truly learn and to be able to have a better understanding of this of reparations and what's happening and the conversations that's happening around it.
Yeah, let me piggyback on that, because New York's governor just announced that they are going to be implementing a reparations task force that is race-based. And so that's, again, Malik, why I was saying how it's so important to have you in here from the perspective of the recent Supreme Court ruling, because they made clear, I felt, that a simple race-based reparations program was not going to be able to withstand challenge. But the suggestion that if you are looking to do restorative repair because of the negligence or harm caused by the government to those Black Americans who are descendants of slaves and subsequently freedmen, that space was open for us to make the case for. And so that's one of the biggest things that I'm seeing happening online. And let's keep it a buck. There's a lot of grifting. People are using this as an opportunity to form nonprofit organizations, to bolster YouTube channels and continue to advance misinformation and propaganda. So hopefully this will be a space where, again, we will not only be able to promote the book and its reading, and also, give, publicity to the grant funder, the William T. Grant funding organization, and I also have been in communication with UC Press, and they're all in support of this as well. So they're going to work with us in their marketing department of the event. All right.
Hey, Doctor, just really quickly while you're talking about that, I was listening to the New Jersey app on reparations. I listened 2 weeks ago, and they are leaning heavily into everybody Black get something. And people were pushing back. But it was not pretty. It was not pretty at all. This is going to be an uphill battle for sure.
Yeah, I mean, because, the fact of the matter is that people are really suffering and, trying to make ends meet, and, people losing, their housing and healthcare. So, there's a lot of anxiety, and people want reparations tomorrow. And there's people who are kind of, giving them this impression that, it's a battle that might be won in the next election. I'm not necessarily convinced of that. No matter how long it is, I'm going to be in the fight till I don't have no more breath, because I'm going to be a new grandma. So for the first time, and I want to make sure that something here for my little Charlie, so that he'll be able to, live the American dream in life as, sacrificed by our, ancestors who fought for our freedom and subsequent, justice in America. And so that's my motivating factor. So, right now I'm not looking to lose any housing, but who knows, most of us, don't live with these resources piled up from generations and generations of wealth transfer from, parents and grandparents. And so we work to maintain our lives on a, daily basis. And so, I just like to see those people who don't have the blessings that I have, even no matter how meager, be able to survive, with the winter coming. And I read stories about people being caught outside with no housing and freezing to death. I'm like, how can that happen in a nation with all the wealth that we have? But, the wealth is concentrated into certain hands, and they don't necessarily, exercise humanity as they distribute their wealth. They engage in efforts to retain their power and control, which is problematic for those who don't have power and a voice to speak to these things. But we all still have, for now, our ability to vote and be able to engage in the civic experiment in the public sphere, which can inform people and direct, our advocacies in such a way that justice can be realized. And that's my desire. Okay.
I'm so, yeah, I just wanted to just echo that, and also just wish everyone a happy holiday season, and looking forward to this work in the new year.
All right. Well, bye,
I'm gonna
everybody.
say something else.
Okay.
Okay, go say something. What?
Okay, so hi
Hey.
everyone. My name is come here.
Wait, you gotta talk. Everybody's ready to get off. You're holding us up. You gotta say what you gotta say.
So my family's here. One of them went off for another call.
Uh-huh.
They sent a message.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Keisha.
Okay, so say goodbye. Say goodbye. Okay.
And
Say goodbye.
and that's Neva, and that's Marie.
Okay.
And have a good day. Bye.
Thank you, dear. Bye,
Bye.
everybody.
Happy holidays.